build the community to come together. That's the aim that I want to always think about, and that's my dream is, and I always say it now we're talking to the council to build an AstroTurf in our training ground. But while they're young, give the freedom, let them go there and do their job. And that's my opinion on players' development. For me, it's just giving them freedom. And I've seen it. I've seen a lot of players that are good, but because they never done all of those stuff before, now they're struggling. People believe that we make money. We don't make no money. Some of these parents cannot even afford the £5 for sub. So it's very difficult how the FA is going to control all of these grassroots and everyone and the Premier League or all the professional clubs, the way to support the grassroots. I just realized, obviously, my dream is done, but the sport dream is not fully finished. So the only way to do it is doing my coaching, and from there, just trying to help the next generation.
Welcome to Underrated Individuals podcast, where we shine spotlight on extraordinary people making a difference in their communities. Today, we have the privilege of speaking with a true game changer in youth football development, Ali Garre. Ali is the founder of White Star FC, a grassroots football club that has become a beacon of hope for young players in North London. With a background in engineering and a passion for sports, Ali has combined his analytical mind with his coaching skills to create a unique approach to youth development. What sets Ali apart is not just his technical expertise, but his unwavering commitment to providing opportunities for those who might otherwise be overlooked. Under his leadership, White Star FC has helped an incredible 104 young players make their way into professional football, a testament to Ali's dedication and his ability to spot and nurture raw talent. But Ali's impact goes far beyond the pitch. He's not just developing footballers, he's shaping young lives, instilling values and building a stronger community. Despite facing numerous challenges, including funding issues, Ali's persevered, and driven by his vision of a more inclusive football landscape, he is succeeding. Today, we'll be diving into Ali's journey, exploring the challenges, triumphs of running a grassroots football club, and getting his insights on the current state of the development in English football. So, without wasting anyone's time, welcome, Brother Ali. How are you doing?
I'm all right. Thank you very much for inviting me today and your broadcast, Underrated Individuals. It's a great program. And yeah, thank you again.
Brother, before we kick off, just to break the ice here, I met you just yesterday, and it was a chance meet because I said I would sponsor Richmond, but I didn't know much about the football scene in London. And just sitting down with you for 5 minutes before anything kicked off, I could already see that you had London in the palm of your hand. Like, everyone knows who you are. How? I think my question is, how have you managed to build that type of a reputation?
Obviously, when you're working with young players, youth, you need to have respect to everyone. You don't even know who you're working with. So I have to be the role model for those kids and, show respect to every single person in the sports or out of sports. You never know who you're meeting. So I will make sure, as obviously, they follow my footstep, how I do things and, how I work with people.
Yeah. So tell us about your journey into sports management and coaching. Where did you start for yourself?
I started obviously playing myself as a young kid, a 16-year-old playing semi-pro. Had a few injuries, and then I just realized, obviously, my dream is done, but the sport dream is not fully finished. So the only way to do it is doing my coaching, and from there, just trying to help the next generation.
Okay, so started off as a semi-pro player, and then how did White Star FC start? Because were you on your own, or was there a group of you? Give us a little bit more insight.
Yeah, so obviously I was playing, and then my little brother, and that time 2002, he just born. He was about what few months old, and because I was playing, and one of my colleague, he had obviously two other sons himself, and he was doing a coaching himself in a park, and then the idea came out of starting the White Star from there, and then obviously we start bringing firstly our community first, Somali community. So we started White Star just Somali, and
Okay.
we had over 300 kids, Somali kids, straight away getting involved because they didn't had things like this before.
Wow.
And the club since then just grown.
Man. So that's 2002, you're saying?
Yeah,
Wow. And then since then, you've managed to get about 104 kids, you said,
yeah,
into professional kind of
professional club. Yeah.
clubs. How, bro? Like, like you say it so easily, but those of you who understand what the game is like, especially for kids from certain areas, people are
Mm-hmm.
forgetting that football is becoming a little bit more and more middle class in terms of the cost structure around it. So not everyone has access to the game like I think before. Before you played in the street, and before you
Mm-hmm.
know it, a scout might pick you out, and hey,
Yeah.
yo, mate, can you come for trials? None
Yeah.
of that happens anymore, eh?
Yeah. Nope. None of that happens. But obviously, and the hard work that I put in, my time, even I'm doing a full time work, but I'm still there for the kids. Even myself, sometimes it's taking kids from their house all the way to the pro clubs training ground with no parents with me. It's only me. So I put so much work into it. So, but a lot of people don't see that. They only see the success,
Mm.
But it's the hard work that goes behind it. And obviously now I've got a group of team that behind me, and seeing my vision, what I want to do, and I've really, really like now we really enjoy it what we're doing.
Mm. You mentioned vision there. Like, what's your vision for White Star FC?
Right now, our vision is to produce more players to Premier League, any Europe clubs, like just professional footballers. That's our aim. And we are succeeding right now, but we want more. We're not just finishing there. We want obviously the next generation do the same thing. So that name White Star needs to carry on the next 30, 60 years. So that's the plan. And only God knows how far we can go, but we keep going.
And what would you say has been the biggest obstacle you've encountered in running White Star FC, over the years?
Yeah, so obviously when I started White Star and coaching, and I take seriously doing the coaching, and the first thing is obviously getting scouts to come and watch the players. Obviously at that time we're the only black team in the area, and it's full black, so it was very difficult. And for me, knocking so many doors, now obviously the game bit changed. We got a few black people doing a good jobs, good roles in their clubs. So it's gone better, but obviously that's the work behind the scene that we've been doing all those years.
Wow. So, how would you define, in your experience, when we
Yeah,
think about it, because we're talking about getting people to come and watch these kids play,
yeah,
you and I know that there is probably, in terms of talent, there's 101, right, players that we could witness every year without a shadow of a doubt
yeah.
that have the ability to play at a high level. What would you say actually stops those players from getting to where they need to be?
Sometimes it could be parent support from home, because parents don't believe football. and they believe more education and, maybe the religion. If, for me, where I'm from, we're Somali and we're Muslim. So our parents, they only believe in, going to mosque, make sure you're educated properly and go to school. So they didn't care about football. So now, obviously, it's gone so difficult speaking to certain parents and telling them that how good it is, the kids playing football and educating through that way. And like now you can see a lot of parents now, they seen on TV because a lot of players are making a lot of money. So things has changed now. Some parents are still want to push their kids, and some parents, they don't care about their kid. But then when they make it, they're there for them.
So that leads, I think, into youth development in England right now. Like,
Yeah.
I know London is not the whole of the UK, so
Yeah.
but a lot of talent comes from London.
Yeah.
People that may not understand how the current situation is, a lot of the London players end up playing out,
Yeah.
right? Because there's like a tiered system.
Yeah.
So maybe you could break that down for us a little bit more. Like, I could talk about it, but I know very basic
Yeah.
level. But you've got like your Cat 1, Cat 2, Cat 3. What does that actually mean?
Yeah, so obviously, Cat 1 is clubs like Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool. There's so many Cat 1 clubs, and it means that they got more money to the academy and they got more resources to the academy. So when that kid comes into that building, everything is get looked after.
Mm-hmm.
So his education, his well-being, everything has been looked after. If he needs, obviously, I know some clubs traveling, they help with the kids if the parents are not driving. And yeah, so that's what it means. Those clubs have got those Cat 1. Some clubs do, and not every club does it. Cat 3s is a smaller clubs that don't put a lot of money into the academies, but what they do is they find a player from grassroots, develop him a little bit more, and sell it to the bigger clubs and make money. So
I think, okay, yeah, carry on yourself.
Yeah, so that's how the system works. So all those Cat 2s and Cat 3s, sometimes they wait, players get released from Cat 1s. And when they get released, they will go Cat 2 or Cat 3, and then they go back to the system that way.
Okay.
And sometimes they don't even get in. So it's tough.
Yeah. The thing I've realized, and you could correct me if I'm wrong
Yeah.
here, but the problem I had when I was, because I used to coach in Zimbabwe and I coached athletes, like athletics, mainly throwers, jumpers, long distance, short distance, all of it. But the thing I realized was a lot of the kids are worried about what it looks like. They want to be in a Cat 1 environment, but Cat 1 don't develop players when you go in there. They're not teaching you about how to play football. You should know how to play football once you're there.
Yeah.
They kind of are expecting to see you fail to a certain extent in Cat 1 spaces.
Yeah.
I think Cat 3, there is a little bit more development. Like people are actually drilling you, and where you might be a little bit weaker, there's still room for them to help you improve.
Yep.
But that's something I've kind of experienced, in other countries, and coming to the UK kind of with a few players that I've worked with, where I've realized there's absolutely no development in Cat 1. It's like, no, you are there, you're a semi-pro player already. You know football.
But yeah.
So tell me, am I on the mark or am I off?
Yeah, no, you are. It's true. There's a clubs that obviously they want made players. Like player is ready to get in, and they're just gonna give you tacticals and all the other stuff. But they're not actually, coaches are not actually teaching what that kid needs. And taking him on the side properly. And the things that I had a few times different clubs talking to the coaches about sort of our players, and saying like, where end of the season comes in and you're gonna tell him that kid is not good enough, why before that give him a warning and just let him know the areas that he needs to work on. and tell him, look, if you work on these areas and we see improvement, because I understand when you're a coach, you're going to have 15, 12, 20 players. You're not going to obviously train all of them individually. You're training as a team. So everything is going through the same one. Some players, they take training lightly, like they just enjoy and just, they're not putting a serious. And some of them are putting 100%. And the ones that are putting 100%, you can see they're improving and they're putting the extra work behind the scene. And the ones that are not putting the behind the scene work gets released. So, and this is where coaches in England, most of the time, they fail talking to those kind of players. I believe, in my opinion, is if I was the coach and I would tell them straight, that parent or the coach, look, your son needs this. He can work on, he's got time, we're believing on him, everything else, yes, and tell the truth. Don't try to hide things behind the scene, and after when you release him, you're telling him all the stuff that he needs to work on, and the stuff that he's good at. All the time I'll go to sometimes reviews on certain clubs, and they're telling them all the good stuff, but then parents and the kids is happy. They're thinking, oh yeah, I'm doing well, but they're not telling him the stuff that he's not good at. Yeah. So it's very, very difficult things. So that's what I always told and I always advise our players is putting the extra work. Don't just rely on day training, because you rely on just a day training, then end of the season comes in, your 2 years contract finishes, then you could be the person that out of the door. So you're able to improve yourself every single day.
What's your opinion of the current state of youth development in the UK? Do you think it's in a good place? What do you think?
I think it's getting better, but still I believe it's like England. The reason why is the way it is they don't support the grassroots teams, and that's where that's where the players come from. So if they have a good coaching in grassroots, they should be able to get more success in academies. But the problem we have here is we've got too many private academies. Anyone that feel like, I want to be a coach, wants to be a coach, and like people haven't played football, but they know how to, do the qualifications and all the paperwork and all of that. Now suddenly they're the best coaches, but they haven't played football. So what you're teaching these kids, you're teaching from the book. Like you need to able to, I don't care, at least play football halfway. Then you can teach someone, and that's what I believe. And I always told, I was like right now, all my young coaches, they all play football. And they're teaching the kids. So they make mistakes in football. Now they're teaching the young ones, do you not make those kind of mistakes? So this is the things that I want to see, obviously, Sports England to change around there and say, you know what, we need to support more the grassroots and give the support, more fundings, better facilities, because the facility here, December comes in, the pitches waterlogged, like it's crazy that we go through a struggle every year, but then we still producing players.
Yeah.
But people don't see that, where these players coming from, and then we had this conversation, I think, like a couple of weeks ago. What we were saying is like players that now get signed from my club, example, now go to, just say he goes to Tottenham or goes to Cambridge, and he's been there 3-4 years in that club. Now another club likes that player. They sold that player maybe 100. At least the grassroots it came from, we should be getting something, but we don't. People believe that we make money. We don't make no money. Some of these parents cannot even afford the £5 for sub. So it's very difficult how the FA is going to control all of these grassroots and everyone and the Premier League or all the professional clubs. the way to support the grassroots.
So it's almost like there should be a grassroots tax on football, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Especially if 50% of the players that are playing professional are coming from the grassroots, the English grassroots, then when we look at it, then at least there should be some sort of a percentage that goes towards the infrastructure.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to go directly to a club.
Yeah.
But if it goes to your pitch, as you said,
exactly,
to prevent the pitch from being waterlogged, and they put in new turf and new systems, you feel like you've won something at least, because you can train. Yeah, you can train all here. I get exactly what you're saying. I think, as you said, I find the fundamentals in the coaching certificate, introduction to coaching now, because they've taken away level 1.
They took exactly. This is the problem.
Yeah, thank you. I agree, because even what they're teaching in introduction to coaching football, there's a part in there that says warm-ups are unnecessary.
Yeah.
Okay? They are necessary for a certain age group.
Yeah. But not everyone.
No. Because if you're going to play at a semi-professional level, right, and you don't know how to get yourself warmed up and stretched, you're going to be injury after injury after injury.
100%.
So for me, when I heard that, like, I said this because my son is, like, my wife's tall, so my son's growing a lot quicker than I ever grew.
Yeah.
He's approximately 1.3 meters, and he's 6.
Yeah, look at that. It's a big boy.
So he's tall. So he's already getting problems in terms of his muscle development because he's quite scrawny and he's quite strong. And his ligaments are, like, his bones are growing too fast. So his ligaments are under a lot of strain. He has to already start warming up at 6.
Yeah.
But you're saying that he doesn't. And I'm like, but you can't use that. That doesn't make sense to me as a coach.
Yeah, it doesn't make no sense. And for me, I told those kind of kids, because the kid's body is growing, so I always told them, go athletic. Athletic, it helps all the muscles. It makes your muscles relax. It makes all your muscles stretch, everything. But a lot of here, we don't do that. And there's the things that it's part of what you're saying, the warm up. Athletic is part of that. So if a kid is growing every time, he needs to grow with his body. Yeah. So if you don't do a lot of athletic and, a lot of jumping and a lot of climbing, your body, after a while, if you don't, then your body will never gonna adjust what you're trying to do. Yeah. And I've seen it. I've seen a lot of players that are good, but because they never done all of those stuff before, now they're struggling.
Yeah. It's so funny because I looked at the boys yesterday. We had a good number. There was over 300 boys playing football at the 32 Borough Cup. And you can see the academy players, right? But even the academy players, there's a lot of laziness around warming up.
Yeah.
Because they don't understand the importance of it.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
And within them talking in conversation, one of the boys pointed towards his abdominal area, but the lower part of the abdomen.
The groin,
Just before groin. So groin sometimes? But just above. Yeah. The amount of young 14, 15, 16-year-old boys in particular, right? Their quad starts to grow and that muscle goes.
100%, right? Yep.
And they have access to physio and academies.
Yeah.
But how come they don't know, or they're not being basically taught how to see to that problem?
Yeah. Because they're going to tell them to rest and put ice on.
And it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like rest and put ice on, and then he goes and then kicks the ball straight away without him doing the proper warm-up, like getting his muscle, and then he goes again. That's why you see a lot of players are getting injuries and surgeries. And it's the same thing. Like, warm-up it needs to be every time. Before they touch the ball, just go do a few laps, get your muscle warmed properly, then you touch the ball. But they're going to tell you have to play with the ball, warm up with the ball. But then these kids, when you tell them warm up with the ball, they're kicking it. without them warming them up. So every time they kick, the muscle is going to go through,
Yep.
gone.
Yep.
And then it's going to be too late for them.
Man, even having this conversation, like as a coach, I've had a number of conversations with different physios that work out, like they work as private physios and not within clubs, but they're treating a lot of kids. And they talk about this, and I'm like, why is there no crossover? Why are there no conversations? Why is no one actually putting this out there for kids to understand that this part of your journey is important? It shapes your attitude, it shapes your demeanor, it shapes everything about the way you approach the game. So I don't know, like when I talk about English football, I always say a lot of the Prem players are coming from abroad.
Yeah, that shows. Yeah,
it's yeah. What's your thoughts on that?
For me, because it's our development. Our development, it needs to be better. Yes, we are producing a lot of players, but where they're going with those players, the best players in the Premier League or the best players in Europe. Because when you compare in Europe, there's always players that are better than us. In here we're more chasing up the kid to be 6'4", 6'3", but then the smaller players that are good technically, everything, they don't get looked at. Oh, he's too small. I like his aggression if he's good, but he's too small. What's too small? You don't know how tall he's gonna be.
Or Messi, or Iniesta, Xavi.
Yeah.
The list of short players is endless. Roberto Carlos.
Silva. Silva. They see, like, they done it. They played in the Premier League.
They made the Premier League look easy.
Yeah. So again, and this is the problem that we have. Like, look at Man United, the centre back Martinez. He's 5'4", whatever he is. Look how small he is, but he can jump. He can win headers. He can do everything.
So,
now they're telling, like, the FA come out the new rules of the kids from, I think, under 7 or under 6 all the way to under 10 or 11, they can't head a ball. So when they're playing at a match, they can't header. So if the ball goes in the air, the kid is going to duck. So when you're going to teach those kids how to header, this is the way so a 15, 14-year-old don't know how to header in academies. How are they going to go and do it?
And then you expect them to go into a semi-pro or a professional setup and perform.
Yeah, and perform. This is the thing. So you're confusing these kids. Kids that you didn't teach them how to header. If you're saying that, okay, if the ball's in there, the player hits or whatever, it's fine. But you can say, in training, don't use headers. Things like that. Yes, understandable, to minimize the head injuries and whatever it causes. But at the end of the day, when he grows up, he gets to any academies, he has to header. The scouts, they're going to watch that game. If they see a kid's ducking on the ball, they're going to think that this kid is not good enough. Because he's not headering. That's part of the aggression. Winning headers, doing things. So they're taking away football, all the fun stuff that we used to watch and we used to do. So they just want people to stand still and just pass the ball. Like seeing Ronaldo coming here, doing the skills, all of that. When was you see any players here now doing it? All of that is gone.
Yeah.
Like, we want to see excited football. They're bringing VAR, all of this. Listen, if it's a handball, it's a handball. Penalty, it's not penalty. That's the reality of football that we used to watch.
Yeah.
Now it's everything like stopping, checking, VAR. Oh yeah, is it in? Is it not? Come on, man. Like, more time is about checking than playing football. Yeah. And that's the way everything gone wrong. From my opinion, I think they just needs to let kids show them what they can do on the pitch. express themselves when they drive in, beating players 1v1s. Me, I encourage all our players 1v1s all the time. Go on, beat your man, drive, because that's what you want. But if you tell our kids just stand still there, and when you get the ball, pass, what are you teaching? For me, sometimes I look at certain clubs and when we play them, and I'm thinking the kids are actually good. If he can beat players, why are you telling him just stand still? There's a space in front of him that he can drive that ball. But they're telling him, no, don't drive, just pass that ball. And for me, that's what I'm against it every time. All our players is 1v1s, 2v2s, beating your man. If you got the space, you drive. If you don't, then this is where you have to use your brain and find out how to get out of that situation. And that's how the boys are going to learn. And then when they reach, 13, 12, then you can teach them the tactical side of the game. But while they're young, give them freedom. Let them go out there and do their job. And that's my opinion on players' development. For me, it's just giving them freedom.
So with all these rules coming up at the lower grassroots levels, it's almost like you're giving them like a crutch. It's a crutch. It's actually like stopping them from
to develop.
Yeah, from actually becoming a footballer.
Yeah.
You're making them less likely to understand or to build the characteristics of a good footballer. And then you're hoping that when they get to 15, 14, 15, that somehow something clicks and they can play.
Yeah.
Okay. Man.
Yeah.
I've never really thought about it that way in terms of the grassroots rules and regulations. Because they've also stopped throw-ins at the under 7s and under 8s level.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have to. Even that. Again, when you're gonna teach them.
Yeah.
If you don't teach them from young.
Yeah.
Because when you reach 14, 15, you're gonna teach them how to throw. So in the real game, you're gonna stop the game every time to teach someone how to throw. Come on, you're gonna see a lot of 5 throws. You're gonna see a lot of players when they reach 14, 15, on the corners, they're ducking the ball. They don't want a header.
Yeah. Because that's what they're used to.
Yeah, exactly. Don't touch the ball. Because their brain is gonna be registered to that. Don't touch the ball in your head. So what else can they do?
On a more positive note, can you tell us one of the success stories that you like that you can think about out of like all of the people you've coached? That is there like one or even 2 stories that you could share with us?
Yeah, obviously we have got one of the players. He was with us since he was 6-year-old. He obviously he was a big boy. He was a bit big, so he was going through a tough time. And the time he reached 10, 11, he lost a lot of weight. He put the work into it. Then he went into Barnet Academy. They signed him. Then he was there for 2 seasons. So under 13 season, Barnet was closing down. And then I've called one of our friends in Palace and said, this boy is available. Do you want to look at him? So he went to watch one of the games. They liked him. And then, to be honest, I was going to take him to Chelsea. But then suddenly he was at home and him and his sister had an argument and he punched the window and he cut his hand. And then he has to go to the hospital. He had an operation, so he couldn't play no football. But then, while all of this was going on, and we wanted to bring him in, the other club went to and signed it and make the deal happen without even him going into their club and made everything straight away paid, job done. And then when he got better, he moved. So that how quick everything changed. Like, you know, for us to bring him in and then him going, you know, it was so quick. Yeah, and I've got another one. This boy now is with us. I think he joined us under 11s. He's very naughty. The school every day fighting. We've been working with him every day. We're trying to always help him because he's got an anger issue. So the last, I would say, 8 months, he's gone better. He listens. His football improved a lot. So we played against Reading Football Club and Academy, and they liked him. And, you know, he went in there, but the issues that we had with him was he hasn't got British passport. So the rules have changed. If you haven't got British passport, obviously you can't sign. You can't do a trial for 8 weeks. You only can do 2 weeks. So he went in for doing the 2 weeks. They liked him. So we have to go and get proof of, you know, how long he's been in the country. He came, I think he was 9 when he came to the country. All the schools that he's been. So we have to call all the schools, prepare all his paperwork just to get him signed. You know, and this is the work behind the scenes people don't see. And I always say, people think like, oh yeah, he got signed. But sometimes you don't know it's a waiting list. You have to wait, you know. And it took us about nearly 2 months just to get the paperwork right. Because every time we send something, there's something is not right. So in the end, everything gone through. They gave him 2 years contract, and he's moving away from the area, going to Reading, and he's going to be going into a private school. So we're excited for him to see that change away from the area he grew up and all his friends coming out and going to somewhere else.
Man, that's amazing to hear, you know.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's so many stories I have, but you know, but there's the ones that when people see it and they know like More Fair, he's one of the biggest. He just signed for a 5 years contract. He already got his pro everything. So when they see him, they're thinking, oh wow, like they think it's easy to get there, but they don't know the work that he put in every day working, you know, and it's not easy.
How many of your players do you support once you get them into a club? Like, do you stay in touch with these guys?
Every day. They still come to my training. We still together. We don't just say, oh yeah, you're signed, see you later. We don't know you. Yeah, they still come to us. We still play. Yeah, so they like our family. You know, they're part of our family. So they're not going nowhere.
When I think about the relationship I built, like you talk about being in charge of 30 boys or whatever it is when you got a team.
Yeah.
Back in Zimbabwe, I went to a school that had, well, I was coaching at the school, but it has 1,500 boys. It's a boys' school. And our athletics team has approximately 250 to 300 kids on the athletics team. Yeah. So that's throwers, jumpers, sprinters, and long distance. So I'm head coach. And when you talk about having to, do things in groups, even in that environment, I was worried about every single one of them.
Yeah.
And the thing I find with this professional setup is they take away the human element of it.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're robots. And if they don't perform, get rid of them.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, there's so many reasons why kids don't perform. There might be something happening at home.
100%.
It might be a growth spurt that they're going through. They might be, mentally strained. they might be struggling with food. You know, like some of these kids don't get to eat. Yeah.
Yep.
And then they come and train, and you're like, man, why didn't you say something? You know.
Yeah.
But even if they do say something, they're like, yeah, it doesn't fix my problem half of the time. You know.
Yeah.
So I find like when we take away that human element, it becomes easy for clubs and for institutions to just be like, yeah, cool, we're going to let go of and release this kid. But if we took the human element and put that back into that, it's very hard to let go. You know, it's
100%. Yeah. It will give you that little care about that person, and you're going to be worried about him. And this is where I've seen players that got released mentally destroyed, and some of them thinking that, yeah, I'm done, I'm not playing football no more, and I have to go to their house, speaking to them and say, look, you're not done. That's one person telling you no, don't listen to them, we keep going. You know, you can still earn something. I will get you a job to be a scouting, coaching. I will help you, whatever you want to do, just don't quit. You know, me, one thing I don't like is when I see a young guy quitting and saying, I want to go and work on 9-to-5 job, where I believe in sports, he can do so many different things. You don't have to be a footballer all the time, but, you know, you can be a manager, you can be head of recruitment, you can be a head of scouting, you can still make money, you know, and you're still with the sports. But that element of, you know, when players get released, caring and making sure, you know, he's okay, you know, how's he going through, like checking, like some clubs now, you know, they do that. They still contact, so they call it player care. So they still contact the parents and finding out how he's doing and all of that. But after a while, you know, he goes and the parents will say, oh yeah, he's fine, he's okay. But for me, it's better speaking to the kid than mom and dad. Yeah, because mom and dad, sometimes they're upset, they don't want to talk, but the kid might talk, you know. He might give you, find out his grassroots coach and just finding out how he's going through, and, you know, if he needs any help, whatever way to help that kid out, you know. But it's yeah, I said it's very difficult to get everyone help. So
if you had unlimited resources, bro, if you had everything, like, okay, let's say unlimited, let's still put a cap on unlimited. Let's say if you had 10 million pounds of investment, right? What would you invest in?
Firstly, I will invest facilities, making sure the next 10-15 years, the next generation coming up, they got facilities for free. They don't have to pay 1p. They come, work on it, do everything, and, you know, build the community to come together. That's the aim that I want to always think about, and that's my dream is, and I always say it. Now we're talking to the council to build that AstroTurf in our training ground, and if we get that done, we will even change more lives. I believe we're already doing it more, but it will triple because the amount of kits I will give them for free. Because right now, what's killing us is more, you know, facility cost. It costs us a lot of money for winter now. From October to March next year, we're looking at £30,000 for just AstroTurf hire. You know, so if I can save that money, I don't need these kids to pay anything. I want to make sure I get the best out of them and give them the opportunities they want, you know, and give them give them jobs, you know, something else that they want to do. Is everything will be there for them.
Bro, you know, I'm somebody who likes to, as you've seen, like even with the message I sent you, I try my best to introduce myself and get to know everyone individually, you know. What advice would you give to other individuals or organizations looking to start similar initiatives? Like, like White Star,
Yeah.
FC. What advice would you give them?
The advice I'll give them is just be honest to those kids. Don't sell dreams, because there's a lot of people out there selling dreams to those kids. Because when you sell one kid a dream and tell him, I'm going to do this for you, do that, and you don't do it, he will always remember that. So don't sell a dream to a kid. If you're going to help him, make sure you help him 100%. And yeah, just be there for that person that you said you're going to help him.
Mm. What's your take before we leave on the female game and the male game, like with the kids, girls and boys?
Yeah.
How do you see that? Like, is there more money in one? Is there being pumped into one than the other?
I believe now, yes, the girls get more now because everyone wants to do girls football, and the girls, yes, they should get, and everything they deserve. The same thing with the boys. They wanna they wanna be a professional footballers. So we wanted to help them, and it's good that now girls, but also I would say the boys the same thing. So if I believe the boys get the facilities gets fixed in this country, then the girls will have best career ever because there will be everywhere facilities to train. But in here is the problem. The biggest problem they have is the facilities. The facilities here is gone. Either it's a private facilities, and now it's just they're giving away to your private companies, and they're just charging you for 1 hour £200. And that means if you don't need it, there's another organization that is rich. They got money somehow. They will pay that money. But then the kid that doesn't have that money, and the organization that doesn't have that money, that are helping thousands of kids, cannot get to that facility. So this is the things I'm trying to break it, and I'm trying to get the community together and say, look, we can do it ourselves. If we come together, we can build the Astro. We can build whatever we want, but we have to come together.
Man, it's been a blessing speaking to you, brother.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
You're amazing. So everything that you've done and that you're doing, it's such a blessing to see and to witness. The love that you have for these individuals that you're working with, and the love they have for you, is second to none. So that being said, before I end this, I just want to say thank you for being you and taking that initiative and not giving up on football. You show us that sport can do so many amazing things for people.
Yeah.
And I hope that everyone listening to this, they get in touch with you. If they especially if they're in the area, get in touch with Ani, and just let him know how you feel you can contribute, because sometimes you might be just speaking to a business owner, or speaking to somebody in the council, and it just helps move this dream.
Any little things helps.
Yeah.
Every little things helps. So anyone out there, we're welcome. At the end of the day, we're human beings. We're here to help, as you know. And also, I want to thank you. First time I met you, trust me, I like the way you welcomed us. I didn't even know you're sponsored, but then the way you introduced yourself, and that I was like, we connect. You can see me. I'm a people person. Me, I don't look around. If me can work, I say, yeah, this is the man. But seriously, I want to thank you, and obviously Bobby did thank you a lot as well that you sponsored the, come in and take your time and come down to that tournament and watch the boys and seeing everything the whole day. It was amazing, seriously. Like I've not seen any other sponsors or any other people come and do that. You're the first person I've seen so far, like come there and seeing what actually going on. And it was good to see that. What is that? 300 kids was there, if even more.
Yeah.
But you see how everyone was talking and, you know, finding out this and that. Yes, there's a lot of things happen in the end, but
Yeah.
that's football. That's part of the game. It's things that does happens. But for me, is look how many people came together, how many young people came together from different areas, you know, and people always look at us and they always say black people, when they come together, they always fights. They always, you know, people getting killed. But look at how many young kids came together on that day, you know, and there's no one big incident that happened,
No.
except obviously that little thing in the end of the game. But that's inside the football. It wasn't. It didn't go further. It didn't. And do you understand? Like everything was sorted.
Yeah.
But for me, I was so happy to see the amount of kids that are there and enjoying, you know, coming to see me, talking to me. Oh, Ali, how are you? You know, some of them they see me on social media. They only know me on social media. I don't know them, but they know me for a long time. You know, and I was so happy. Even in the end, I told my boys, like, listen, nice day. We done what we have to do. We was the best team. You know, everybody now, we're going to go back to our clubs. We're going to go work harder and we move on. And, you know, it was a very good day. Obviously, God planned to meet you as well. So I want to thank you so much. Seriously, well done to you as well. Thank you.
Brother, underrated individuals as a company. Like, okay, when I started this, it was to help us. So when I promised I'd be here, I will do everything in my power to help you reach your fullest potential, because I believe it will save so many lives.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you, man. Enjoy the game.
Same.
Yeah.
And we will definitely be speaking soon.
100%. All right, then, Baba. Thank you.
Stay blessed.
Salute. All right.
Peace.
All right.
That was an amazing conversation with Ali Garre. He's done so many amazing things, and I would just like to say to everybody that listened in, thank you for being here, present with us. Please do hit that subscribe button and tell us who you would like us to speak to next. If there's anything about this conversation that sparked your interest or anything that you're interested in understanding, whether it's for you or for somebody involved in football, feel free to reach out to either our team or to White Star FC on social media. Ali Garre and his team will definitely be in touch as soon as they can. Stay blessed, stay focused. One love and peace.